like to share another little glimpse into my brain of the vision that I have for pawTree. Would you guys like, it could be scary, I'm warning you, to get in a little part of my brain, but would you like to just get a little forward and see a piece of the vision? We talked yesterday about the product pipeline and the vision that is so clear in my head about that. We talked about filling the room with tens of thousands of pet pros all around the world. We've talked about changing the lives of millions and millions of people and filling the world with this amazing message and changing lives and bringing love home. We've talked about all of those components of the vision, and I've given you little pieces of that. Today, I would like to talk to you about the piece of the vision in my head about our charitable giving and us not just bringing love home, but giving love back. Well, this is an area that just like all the other parts of the business, this is an area that you form. It's just like any other vision, right? You formulate a vision in your mind, and then you have to go work, and you go act, and you go build, and you put in the foundation, and then you put in the next layer, and the next layer. And so just like anything else, just like when we launched our products, we didn't launch with everything we have now, and I told you we already have an amazing product pipeline that we haven't launched yet. So you kind of crawl, walk, jog, run, right? There's a method to things. And so from the beginning, I've always known that pawTree would have, and if I kind of take you to the end state in my vision, we will have one day the pawTree Foundation, which will be a charitable arm that's a sister company to That's a little glimmer into the future, and I don't know yet. Sometimes the vision, it's clear, you know, what it looks like, and sometimes the path there and the timing there is, you have to be flexible. So I don't know when that part of the vision will come to be. It's not this year, but we crawl, walk, jog, run. And even at the very, very beginning, the very first day, some of you, actually by show of hands, how many were at our launch party in April of 2014? I know there were several. So raise your hand really high. So we had just 4 people. Well, Brad, you were there. Matt, you were there. Weren't you? Oh, Matt didn't come in. Okay. It was just Elka. Okay. All right. So, and Mike. So, 4 people were at our launch party in Dallas in April of 2014. And we had, even at that event, we had a local rescue come and participate with us. And we helped promote them and publicize them. And for those of you, and we actually had dogs. They brought dogs. We took pictures with dogs. We helped promote their cause. And in fact, I helped promote their cause in a very big way. Beth remembers. My daughter, there's one of my daughters right there, Katie, and she was very instrumental in this, and my other daughter, Holly, we have 3 daughters, but 2 were there at the party, and they fell in love with a little dog named Jojo, who we rescued that night. We had no intention of bringing home another dog at the end of the big party, and we were the last ones cleaning up, and they're taking the dogs and loading them into the truck, and little Katie and Holly are there with, please, Mom, please, can't we take Jojo? So we ended up with another 4-legged member of our family that very night. So we have always, from the very beginning, that's an example of crawling. We can do what we can do at the time we can do it. Last year, we had some really exciting opportunities. When you think about charity, we had some significant national disasters last year, if you remember. And when national disasters affect people, almost always, who do they also affect? Pets, right? And so I want to do a quick look back to last year. This little video segment we played on our birthday celebration as we looked back to 2017. But here's some of the things we did last year. So that's what we did last year, in addition to other things, but those were some really exciting opportunities that were just opportunistic, and we were able to provide and help many pets around the country in those ways. So now looking ahead to 2018, so as we kind of move forward, we have a very exciting organization that we have been working with for some time. I have a question actually. Could anybody in the room who is either an active duty or has served in the military, or a spouse has served in the military, or a family member has served in the military, please stand up for a minute. I'd just like to recognize all of you. Well, I want to tell you about an organization that actually works with wounded veterans, and they work with veterans who have been wounded and have mobility issues. And what they do, it's an amazing cause. They train dogs. They spend 2 years training each dog. And you can imagine the amount of time and money and cost goes into training a dog for 2 years. And then they place those dogs in the homes of wounded veterans who can be helped either physically or psychologically through the use of these animals, these wonderful companions. And Melissa and I, last month, this is a photo of Melissa and I on stage at a ceremony where they call it the passing of the leash. And what happens is incredibly touching, very emotional. They go through this whole, basically, ceremony where they have all the people who were involved in helping train that pet over 2 years, that dog, and they stand up in front of everybody, and on one end is the head trainer, and she passes the leash to the other trainer, and basically everybody who's contributed, and at the end of the line is that veteran who's waiting to take the leash and take ownership and partnership with that dog, who will now become a forever companion, a wonderful partner with that wounded veteran, and take them into their home. So it's an amazing organization that is truly making a difference in both the lives of pets and people. And I've got a video here I'd like to play to help you learn a little bit more about what they do.
I'm Mike Kitchens, and I'm honored to serve as volunteer chair for Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. Our mission is simply to enhance the physical and psychological quality of life for wounded veterans and their families by providing them at no cost mobility assistance service dogs. It's not just the physical task that the dog can do for that wounded veteran. That dog plays a critical role in helping they and their families get on with their lives.
I was never a dog person, an animal person. Didn't like the barking and the running around. And then Susie had sat down with me and told me we match dogs with people. Bryce is a low energy dog. He's not bouncing off the walls. Anything I do, he is there before I can even think about it. He doesn't leave 5 feet from my side. I still don't like going into the public, but knowing that I've got a grip on him and he's got everything I need is a feeling that I can't explain.
I was a sergeant in the United States Marine Corps, and I got injured, which resulted in the loss of my legs. My service dog, Bella, she is a Smoky Mountain Service Dog, and she's my constant companion. There's no words to express everything that these dogs can do for us. I will be there for them any chance I could get personally, just to help get the word out about this organization. There's nothing that I could do that would be enough to repay them for everything that they've done for me.
We are able to do what we do because of the volunteer and giving spirit of the greater Knoxville community.
The Tellico community has been very instrumental in the success of Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. They were able to jump in from the beginning and be able to help us raise puppies in our program, and it's expanded from there.
When I first moved to Tellico, I was looking for a couple of volunteer opportunities, and when I heard about Smoky Mountain Service Dogs, it was absolutely perfect for me, and I absolutely love helping the veterans and working with the dogs. I get way back more than I could ever put in.
Whether you're in a dark spot from an injury, whether it be physical, mental, these dogs give you something that nobody else can give you. I'm thankful for them.
So it's with great honor and privilege that I announce right here from the stage our formal partnership with the Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. Wonderful organization, and I want to tell you how we are going to be involved and how you can help and how every purchase helps. Every purchase of any pawTree product is going to allow pawTree to do the following two things. One is that we're going to donate food at no cost to the various wounded veterans who receive these dogs and who need the food. So we're going to donate pet food on an ongoing basis to these folks who can use it and need it. And the second thing is that we're going to donate a combination of paw pairings and supplements and any product basically that's needed in the training facilities. When these pets are there, these dogs are there for 2 years, they often have GI challenges, or could have joint issues, or any supplements that are needed, and paw pairings to all of the service dogs who are being trained for the 2 years that they're in their home being trained. So those are the two specific things that we're going to do, and every purchase, every dollar of every purchase that we can build helps us to be able to give back in this way to this community. So that's how we are specifically giving, and that's how your contributions in selling are going to help. Now, I would like to have each of you help me give a very warm welcome. We have a special guest, a special privilege to have the founder, the volunteer chairman of Smoky Mountain Service Dogs with us. Please welcome Mike Kitchens to the stage. Now, Mike, you take center stage here.
I don't dance.
Well, that makes two of us, so it doesn't mean I won't try. We'll take one for the team. So before we give a few minutes to Mike to share from his heart, what Smoky Mountain Service Dogs does and why they have chosen to partner with us, I want to share why we have chosen to partner with them. And as you think about it, many of you have memorized and internalized our vision statement and our mission statement, and both have two words in them that are very key, and that is pets and their people. Our vision statement is to create a world filled with unconditional love where pets and their people thrive, right? And our mission statement is to make such an amazing difference in the lives of pets and their people that they could never imagine going back to the old way. Right? That's what we're about every single day. And so the thing that is really remarkable about this organization, as you can see from the video and what you'll hear in just a few minutes even more in depth, is the way that their organization has this amazing also mission to make a difference in the lives of pets and people. Right? They're using these incredible dogs that they put their whole heart and soul into to make a difference in the lives of wounded veterans and their families and extended families. And so before we turn some time over to Mike to do that, I would also like to share this photo and let you know how it is that I came to know Mike. So, and Melissa, would you like to tell that story?
Yes.
How I came to know Mike?
I would love to introduce you to my daddy.
so much. Thank you so much. I know that Roger honored the veterans here. I'd also like to do that. As we say in Tennessee, we appreciate you. We get it. We understand the sacrifices that you and your families make. Quickly, what we do at Smoky Mountain Service Dogs, our mission, and I didn't know I was going to be on this stage when I had the first pawTree box with Bingo's buffet delivered to my doorstep. So this thing has been a journey, and the organization has just kept coming closer together, and here we are. We focus on the severely wounded veterans. Typically, limb loss, traumatic brain injury, or other injuries where balance and stability are compromised. We do a lot of dropped item training. You'll see our dogs wear mobility assistance harnesses to provide a little stability, a little balance. We'll train our dogs for about 2 years, 15 to 1,800 hours. And at the passing of the leash, as Roger mentioned, we pass them along to a veteran at no cost to that veteran, and they're life changers. So we're honored to do that. And of course, Tennessee is known as the volunteer state. And we're living that motto each and every day with what we do. We have over 100 community volunteers. They help us puppy raise, socialize, respite foster, grant write, keep books. We've got an Air Force veteran that was an aviator that leads a team that mows our 10 acres. So the only people that are paid in our organization are 3 professional trainers. So for folks like you that support what we do, your money's going to where you want to see it go. It goes to the care and training of the dogs and to the wounded veterans that receive our dogs. So it's my honor to be here and to be part of your community. And with that, I think we have another introduction to make.
Me and 3 other airmen were walking through the desert looking for a missile that the Army had fired. It didn't detonate, and our job was to find it and dispose of it. As we were walking, there were no clicks, any kind of movie things. It's just boom, an explosion. I hit the ground face first. I crushed these 3 fingers. When I had rolled over, I had sand in my mouth. I was trying to get the sand out. Realized my hand was completely amputated. My foot on this side was up by my head. Captain came over. They started pulling their belts off, tourniqueting. One of them tourniqueted my arm, the other one tourniqueted my leg. Then they picked me up and started carrying me to the Humvee. Started into the heart of Kuwait City looking for a hospital. From there, I had to wait for the commander from Camp Doha to come down and look at me, physically see me, before they were allowed to do anything for me, because they were civilians. Explosive ordnance disposal is the best job there is in the military. It is dangerous, but it's the best job there is. I would go back and do it again right now if they'd let me. On my birthday, my wife had taken me out to dinner. We were in the parking lot of the restaurant. I took a bad fall. After that fall, she had gotten on the internet, found Smoky Mountain Service Dogs. I told them stability was #1 for me because I had a couple of bad falls. From that interview process, ended up pairing me with Lucy. She's very special. I can put weight on her and she'll hold it. It's almost spooky how much she stares at you. She's just waiting to help. She's wanting always to do something. When the service dog becomes your dog, it's yours from then on to take care of each other. It's a great feeling.
I'd like to introduce Billy Marshall, Air Force Senior Airman. course, is Smoky Mountain Service Dog Lucy. We've been able to this point to assist 26 severely wounded veterans. We're getting ready to build a new veteran canine training center, an 18-dog kennel, a 3,500 square foot veteran training center that will allow us to double the number of veterans we can have. I'm an emotional guy, I'm okay, I'll tell you that. And you know, a lot of the times heroes are behind the scenes, and that's really the case in the military and our veterans. Behind each one that goes down, there's a family, there are children whose lives also change dramatically. Now, Billy has got a horrible sense of timing. I kid him about this because he was injured on his wife's 21st birthday, who was serving also in the Air Force stateside. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Miss Krista Marshall that will relay to you what this dog has meant to Billy and her. They have 3 daughters, Brianna and Mackenzie, and their dog Lucy. Krista Marshall.
And I am the wife of Explosive Ordnance Disposal Wounded Warrior Billy Marshall. And we are so proud and so very privileged to have Smoky Mountain Service Lucy as a part of our family. It is our honor to be here with you all tonight to share a little bit about our family, our journey to Lucy, and what an impact having a Smoky Mountain Service dog has made. But first, Billy, Lucy, and I, we would just like to thank Melissa and Roger and the pawTree family for believing in our Smoky Mountain Service Dog mission and considering to contribute to our cause. Please know that your donations, your contributions, not only are they going to change the lives of our dogs, they're changing the lives of our veterans and their families. And that's huge. I asked Melissa to put me extra tissue. Anyway, to tell you guys a little bit about Billy and me, we did meet at Eglin Air Force Base, Fort Walton Beach, Florida. I was actually stationed there permanent party. I worked on the flight line, and Billy was assigned as a student in the Navy EOD school, which is the school for the bomb squad. Now, did I mention I did outrank my husband? But that really didn't matter much because being the true Louisiana girl that I am, Billy had me at, hello, would you like to two-step? It's true. 3 months later, we got married, and about 10 months after that, Billy volunteered for a 6-month rotation in support of Operation Desert Storm. He was in country a week to the day when I got a knock at our front door, and I opened the door to a sea of dress blue. And that's how I found out there had been an accident, an explosion, and Billy had been hurt. Within 24 hours, I was in Germany. I was aboard a KC-135 gunship, emergency orders in hand, and my only mission was to bring home my husband. I landed on the tarmac outside of Camp Doha, and I was greeted by his entire EOD squadron and the base commander, who happened to be a 1-star general. And looking back on this, y'all, God bless his heart, because I never remember saluting the man. I was like I had tunnel vision, and the only thing that I ever remember really saying to him is, "Where is my husband?" Now, I know everyone in this room today, at one time or the other, has heard the saying, freedom isn't free. And I believe that word freedom holds a lot of different meanings. In fact, I think that if I went around the room today and asked one person at each table to tell me, what does freedom mean to you? I think by the time we got around the room, we'd have a lot of different answers. So y'all think about that today. What does freedom mean to you? And I'm going to try and share with you exactly what it looks like to me. Now, sorry, minute. I'm happy to say I come from a long line of military service. My granddaddy served as a Navy officer, and my dad served in the Air Force during Vietnam. My brother served in the Marine Corps. And I'd just like to pause for a moment and say thank God for all of our brave souls that have served and given the ultimate sacrifice during their service to this country. I'm having difficulties with the water. Okay. As well as recognize all of our active duty military men and women today and their families that continue to serve and sacrifice. So thank you. American soldier, past and present, they already know. There is an unspoken truth, a trust between the men and the women that you serve with. I knew walking into any situation, if something got a little hairy, something went a little sideways, I held my buddy's lifeline in my hands. And come hell or high water, through thick or thin, I was going to do whatever it took to take my buddy out. And without a doubt, there is no question, I knew if the tables were turned, my buddy was going to do the same for me. Billy was not the only service member hurt in the explosion that took his arm and leg. There were actually 4. By the grace of God, the first 3 survived the blast, and despite their cuts and burns, which were severe, no radio communication, no backup, they were able to do what had to be done, and they got Billy out and they saved his life. That is through thick or thin. Now, I don't know about you all, but us marshals, my family, we do not do normal. There is always something, there's always an adventure, there's always something happening. There was this one time right after Billy got his first set of pieces and parts, that's what I call his prosthetic arm and leg. We still live in Florida, I was still active duty, and we decided to pack a picnic lunch and go to the beach for the day. And we got out there and we see this jet ski rental place. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And we thought, yeah, this is awesome, we're doing this. So we rented this jet ski for the day, and it was great, we had a great time. Billy was like a wild man shooting across the water, you know. But I asked y'all, does anybody know what salt water does to metal? Yeah, rust. So we've all seen that movie, The Wizard of Oz, and how the Tin Man had to have an oil can. At the end of the day, Billy was my Tin Man, and I had a can of WD-40 spraying him down. That's true. You know, who knew? We've come a long way in 20 years. We've got swim pieces and parts now. Anyway, jumping ahead several more years, we had our first child. We actually have 2 girls now. Mr. Mike mentioned them. Brianna is 21 years old now, and Mackenzie is 17. But when they were babies, we decided that Billy would be the stay-at-home dad and I'd work outside the home. And he simply was terrific at it. He was like a one-man NASCAR pit crew, all wrapped up in one. He could change a diaper 5 seconds flat on hand. And that's, you know, I don't care who you are, that's pretty dang impressive. But the reason why I'm sharing some of my family stories with you all today is because I want each of you to be able to see what I see. And that is, despite an injury, Billy, as well as each one of our Smoky Mountain Service Dog recipients, they continue to be strong, powerful, determined warriors. They know focus, overcome, and complete the mission. Make no mistake about it, these men and women, they're on the hardest mission of all. It is 24/7 in your face, and it does not stop. It's the mission of life. And that's where the Smoky Mountain Service Dog organization has stepped up front and center and said, we're taking on this mission with you, and in these dogs, through your contributions and through the pawTree company's help and support, each one of you is represented, and you have said, we are right here, we are walking beside you and through thick and thin to the end, my friend. You are not alone. That's huge. Lucy have been a working team now for 5 years. And right off the bat, within the first week and a half, I mean, my eyes were wide open. We were actually in Knoxville. We live now in a little place called Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. I don't know if y'all know that area. But we were up in Knoxville. We were up at a furniture store. And everybody's been in a furniture store. You know how they have the different displays. I was over here looking at one display, and Billy and Lucy were way back over here looking at another display. And I heard a little clipping and clanking going on, knew something wasn't right. And I turned around to see Billy's artificial toe had gotten hung up on an area rug. You know, that's life. Just enough to knock him off balance. I was too far from him to catch him. But what I saw was Lucy locking it up. And with her whole body, she braced his entire body weight. And what would have been a crash and burn in front of God and everybody, Lucy saved the day. And at that very moment, I knew Lucy's got this. Lucy's got my back. And this wave of relief just kind of washed over me. And it was like I could take a deep breath for the first time since I landed on that tarmac. Yeah. I can't tell y'all how many times I have said to Billy over the past 20 plus years, Billy, what are you doing? Sit down, let me get that for you. Billy, can I help? Billy, do you need help? And my husband, being the strong military man that he is, his answer to me has always been, no, I'm good. With just a look, Lucy's asking those very same questions. And Billy's answer has always been, yes, good dog. As silly as it sounds, those 3 simple words, every time I hear them, they bring me comfort because I know she's taking care of him. Not too long ago, just a while back, we were out in the backyard. And what you see in Lucy today, she's vested up, she's working, okay? But when they're at home, they are allowed to be dogs. Lucy's allowed to run around and, you know, just be Lucy the dog. So at this time, she was out in the backyard. She was actually sniffing around the tree line, would not have thought for a second that she was paying us any bit of mind. Billy and I were up closer to the house. It was a beautiful day. He decided that he was going to stretch out in the grass, lay back for a minute, and so I sat down. The second Billy stretched out and his head hit the grass, Lucy made a beeline to Billy and went immediately into alert mode. That is a task that these dogs are taught, one of many. They are taught that anytime their veteran goes down, they are to bark. 1, until somebody comes for help, or 2, if they're veteran, to get them to come to. That task in and of itself is pretty amazing. Here's the remarkable part. Billy and Lucy hadn't drilled or practiced that task in over 2 years prior. That's proof in the pudding. These dogs, they are the real deal. And it showed me that Lucy is never off the clock, and she is always watching. The bond between Billy and Lucy is undeniable. It's unspoken, but it's understood. And all that Lucy is able to help Billy with to get him through his day, for me, just knowing that she's there, that helps me to get through mine. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, my little piece of freedom has 4 legs and 2 brown eyes. And